Hello guys, it's Peter from PSsound, and in this video you are going to see something pretty mad. Yes, there hasn't been much happening on YouTube lately because we had to finish this project. It wasn't a long time ago when we showed this car and the transplantation from the previous Taycan. The system that we built in 2021 in a black Taycan moved into a new one. The owner moved the system into this one. And we had these discussions how to push the system even further. Not that he wasn't happy with the previous one, but we knew that there was more that could be done. However, the previous car, as it was leased, we had limitations what we could do. So we had like mid-bass in the door. We didn't cut anything. We didn't cut carpet in the car. So everything was fully reversible, and we actually turned that previous car back into its factory state within a day. So that was amazing, but that was limiting us what we could do with the car. So we had discussions how we could carry on and doing something even crazier, which is difficult. It's difficult when people come to us and they hear full-blown, full custom systems like in any Citroën or in my S-Class, or most of the cars, the crazy cars that we build, people can tell that there's just another level from systems where even if you have the best equipment and it's installed well, but if the application for especially bass drivers can be done better and it requires custom fabrication, then you can get to that level as well. However, it means that the car will be modified to the point that it will take just a bit more work to turn it back to factory, and a leased car is not ideal for that scenario. So this car is now not leased, so we could do crazy things, and some of you could see the daily progress. Some of you could see all the little tricks and tips on how we did what we did that I'm going to show you now. And if you don't know our Patreon channel, I have to mention it here as well, not just at the end of the video like usually I do. We have over 600 posts on that channel now. It's freaking crazy. In the last 3 years, that channel has grown to a point where the knowledge is just insane. So check out the description. The first link you will see is to the PSsound Patreon. And you also have now another link to Eddie's Patreon, because he has a separate channel where he has the passion and the time to make really long, like hour and a half long tutorials and videos about fabrication, how we build front subwoofer enclosure like in this car I'm going to show to you now, or sail panels, or anything that requires custom fabrication. You can learn a lot from. So what changed here? Probably you could see it from the thumbnail, and we shared a little teaser video on our Facebook page as well. And yes, that's now not OEM application, that's for sure. Many people know that I just have, I don't want to say I hate, but I do. But I have problems with factory application when people put mid-bass in the door. That place is just not ideal for a mid-bass driver. I know the industry has been brainwashing everybody to do as much soundproofing as you can. So the sound proofing manufacturers can sell all their products, and then you can spend days soundproofing your doors. And in certain occasions, you can be lucky that you may not have vibrations and buzzes. However, even if you manage to do that, which is like 1 out of 1,000 applications in my book, it's still nice controlled, it's still nice clean, because the sound doesn't only come out of the speaker, but it comes out of the whole panel. Even if you don't have audible rattles, you will still have flex and vibration, and that kills the ability to have the driver staying and becoming a point source for the mid-bass range. And instead of just the sound coming out of there from the speaker, it's coming out of the whole door, and that creates big problems in the car. You can just never have such a pinpoint accurate staging where everything is on the top of the dash without buzzes, killing the listening experience, and then giving you that chest kick that everybody's crying for. So there you go. Now we have a door enclosure. You will see at the end of the video the short little slideshow with the pictures to show what went into it. But on Patreon, yeah, we had like 7-8 updates at the end of every day to show the challenges, what we had to deal with, and how this roughly 10-liter sealed enclosure was made to bolt onto the door. And now this is fully sealed for that Accuton C165AM driver, and then now that completes the front end. Because we had the C30AM and the C100AM in the car from the previous build, where the tweeters, as you can see, are on the pillar and the mids are on the dash. And we have an extra additional little thing you can see on the top of the pillar. We have a little cover there, which was now an add-on. It's not the most ideal way to do it. If we had the chance or the time, or in the future we are really fuzzed, or the owner is fuzzed, then we can rebuild the pillar and make it neater. But now under those covers we have a pair of Mundorf AMTU40s that yes, we sell. Now we do sell those AMTUs without the faceplate. We are the only ones on this little planet where you can get those tweeters from. If it hasn't been obvious, yes, we haven't done much promotion to it, and we have some great things coming regarding those tweeters. Soon I will announce that too. Some of the guys from Patreon know already. But we added a pair of super tweeters in this car, which some of you may question, Pete, why did you do that? Why did you fit super tweeters when you already had Accuton tweeters in this car? Why is it really necessary? And there was a time when I was also skeptical about it. I was questioning it, especially when I saw people far east installing super tweeters besides of, you know, on the side of super expensive tweeters like Focal Ultima and whatnot. And I'm like, you know, why do you really need that? Doesn't the main tweeter do everything? Isn't it capable to do everything, deliver everything? And the S-Class in my car that I still haven't shared on YouTube, I'm really sorry for that. One day it will be explained and showed why not. But in that car we have a pair of super tweeters which definitely make a difference. And it's not like a day and night difference, honestly. When you get to this stage, it's like the end game, and it's the fine seasoning to your system. It's not the Accuton doesn't deliver the top end stunningly, but there's a point where a large format tweeter that can play down low, sometimes most of them, well, most of the tweeters can't do anything like the Mundorf AMTs do on the top end. And they just add that extra bit of air and space, taking things to another level. I think only those people will understand it who have used ribbons or AMTs in home audio, in home hi-fi. They know that they just do something different, especially ribbons. By the way, ribbon tweeters and AMTs are not the same. AMT is an air motion tweeter. Physically it looks somewhat similar, but in you know, the way it works, it's completely different. However, when it comes to sound characteristics, they sound somewhat similar. They are very, very detailed and transparent on the top end with a lot of air. Not everybody needs that, that's for sure. But it's now a thing that this car and this project deserved to have. Yes, it meant that we had to add extra amps, so I'm going to show that too. And now it is turning into one of the most ridiculous systems that we've built. You can see the other side enclosure there. So yes, we added these enclosures, and that was hard work. Very hard work. Plus we made these trim inserts with our logo and the turbo sign, which was the owner's request. He wanted to see the turbo because that's the designation of this given Taycan model. This is the Taycan Turbo. I think it's the third up in the line because they still have the Turbo S, which is even crazier. But even this is like 600 and something horsepower. It's insane. The torque on it and instant power from an EV, it's just mad. I don't want to swear, but I could when it comes to the performance of the car. So enclosure, and then we wanted to go beyond that, and yes, we have two 15s in trunk IB that do an amazing job. Everything is amazing, right? I know some people are fed up with that. So We still have the two Acoustic Elegance IB15AUs that we had for now 6 years, coming out of the E63 AMG, going to the previous Taycan and into this. And we were planning to try different subs here too, but they did not arrive in time, sadly. So that's going to happen at the next stage. But they still work great and they do a good job. And yes, I could have a video talking about trunk IB and true IB, the difference between that. That will happen one day, that's for sure. Yeah, mic, cables, everything, everywhere. So in order to have insane upfront bass and proper chest kick, these days you could see we built so many cars with front subs, and we have videos about it on YouTube as well, why you need a front sub. If you type in front sub PSsound to YouTube, you will have videos coming up from the Honda, from the BMW 6 GT. Please watch those long explanation videos. If you don't understand why you need a front sub after watching those videos, then I don't know who can help you. The only thing that can help you is if you come to meetings. We organize. Some people are flying out now to our meeting next Saturday on the 2nd of March. They fly from Europe and they want to hear what we do. They want to experience this madness. Because some people can, you know, how can you trust that anybody says online? You know, everything is amazing online. Everything is fantastic. People fit 10-inch mid bass or subs indoors and it's amazing. Sure, everything is amazing that people say online. And it's equally true for our projects. Pete, everything you do is amazing. It's getting boring, right? But we are not trying to show these systems to the public. And quite often many of these crazy projects go to meetings. Not this car, sadly, because this is owned by a gentleman who is very busy in his life and he doesn't have time for coming to meetings. I wish he got there. One day he will get there, but his work and his family keeps him too busy right now. However, if we have this car in the future at the workshop, maybe I mention it to a few of you and then you could come and hear it in the workshop on those days when it's here. But to be fair, most of the time is really tight. Now I'm shooting this video at 9:30 in the evening before this car goes home tomorrow. So yeah, it's difficult. So that's what I mentioned. We have more than an hour long video showing how that enclosure was built in the footwell. Fully fiberglassed mold. Yes, we had to cut the carpet. We had to relocate the most box. We had to relocate a lot of cables and a lot of stuff. And now over there we have roughly a 0.45 cubic foot sealed enclosure for the GLTW3 driver. Of course, you know, people can always have discussions about why this driver, why that driver. All I can tell you that it's pretty much, you know, not that it doesn't matter, it does matter what driver you use, but a front sub is going to make a massive difference no matter what you do. You can't go wrong with it, honestly. You have an 8, a 10, or in some cases, if you have a huge car, you have a 12 up front. It's going to be a game changer. I told to many guys on my Patreon as well that I gave them a challenge. If you don't want to believe what an enclosure makes, what difference it makes over a door application, grab a home speaker, a bookshelf speaker, and put it in your, you know, front floor area. Just put it down, wire it up, and listen to the difference. Or you can even put a small box down here on the floor while keeping your mid bass in the door running as well, and just switch between the two and hear the difference in clarity, in accuracy, and in tightness, and how it feels also. Not just that you hear it, because anything can measure perfect on an RTA graph. It can look like, you know, it has perfect rise, even like 4-5 dB rise below 250 Hertz, giving you a lot of level, but it won't kick. Whereas a rigid application in an enclosure or in the kicks or in the firewall is going to give you that magic, because it's all about rigid mounting. I know I can steer away from introducing cars and explaining the cars, that's what I should be doing, but at the same time I cannot emphasize enough the importance of speaker installation. And that's the reason why you should never be that worried about what driver you use up front for a front sub duty. All you want to do to make sure that the driver is going to be happy in a small sealed application, because you have no other chance for anything else really, unless you go IB and you can cut the firewall that we did in the Amarok as well, which was a bit insane. But you know, a front sub is going to do magic, especially in the range between 40 and 80 or 100 hertz. It's going to kick the shit out of you. And that driver, I can tell you, is insane when it comes to output capabilities. It's tight, it's accurate, but if you want to go mad, it does that too. You don't have to feel shy and sorry for the driver. It's taking it. As it's crossed above 40-45 hertz, it's not going to struggle at the bottom end. For that, you need the rear subs. You could even call this front woofer. We were talking about it on Patreon the other day with the guys, that the biggest confusion probably for most people when it comes to front subs and rear subs is that they are called the same. But, you know, maybe from now on, let's call a front sub front woofer. So you have a front big large woofer that's more capable to play the lower octaves than a mid bass. Many people keep pushing mid bass drivers down to like 40, 50 or 60 hertz and they expect magic. And you may measure response. In most cars from a door you can measure it all already down, you know, to like 30, 35 hertz. But no, that's not a functional range that you can utilize unless you listen to music on a really low level and you're not interested in feeling the music to creating like a concert experience or a club experience. Because let's face it, most people want to lose themselves and they want to have the ability to turn the system up and feel free when they listen to music in their cars. And that's the reason why we did all this, why we spent another, I don't even know, I'm adding the hours up tonight, close to 170 hours in this car now, on the top of the existing system, to do the mid-bass install, do the super tweeters, do the front sub, and then do all the adjustments that we had to do at the back as well. So, because we added the super tweeters and the front sub, we needed more amps. So now we did a temporary solution, because there's going to be another phase for this project later on, where we will have a big amplifier upgrade. For now, we could squeeze in a Micro Precision 5 series amplifier in between the subs on the steel frame, which gave us good mounting, because that steel frame for the subs is super rock solid. Even if the subs go crazy, nothing moves there. So that's not running the super tweeter though. We changed the layout, and then now that's running the Accuton main tweeters that play the widest range. And then these channels that freed up from the Zapco 150.6AP, those run now the super tweeters. We still have a small Zapco 2 channel on that side running the rearfill, that's running differential. And then now we have another tiny little Zapco monoblock over there running the front sub. Yes, it's not super expensive amp, but it does a perfect job. It doesn't have switching noise, it doesn't have floor noise, and it has plenty of output capability. And because the voltage in this car is always solid 13.5 volt, the amps are having such an easy life. I was smashing the system in the last few hours, crazy, and nothing is warm, nothing is struggling. Another recommendation to you guys: if you want good bass in a car, sort out your voltage. That's the most important thing. Before you think, oh, I need more power, I need bigger sub, sort out your voltage. That's one of the most important things when you want a solid system that kicks the shit out of you without limitations, honestly. And in this electric car, that's magical. That's magical that we never have to struggle with power. And now some people may start laughing. Ha 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 ha, you know, it reduces the range, and you know, it's going to reduce the range of the car so much because you have such a big system. Well, we have a video when we tested this system, the previous system in the black Taycan, and we clamped the system. So we showed how much the fully active system like this draws. And we also showed how much of the battery range of the main battery in the car was affected by the audio system. But I can tell you now as well, the big difference is that the audio system runs on 12 volts, or more exactly 13.5. But the car's battery is 800 volts. 800 volts and I think it has an 80 kilowatt pack. That's so much power. If you translate that down to 12 volt, you would literally need a lorry behind this car with car audio batteries to give you enough power to run this car from 12 volt, all the electric engines and everything. So the 80 kilowatt hour on 800 volt that we have in this car could literally run this audio system for 2 weeks without any problem. When I tested the previous system and I ran it for 8 hours, it reduced 4% from the main battery. 4% in 8 hours. That means that you cannot run this car for longer than 4 hours on the road when you drive. You will have to find a charging station. So in half the time, you will have only 2% maximum reduction from your range. Do you really notice that? So before you start to be skeptical and joking about it and look too clever about it, then hopefully you're listening to it now and you start to rethink how EV is actually the best platform for car audio when it comes to power supply, because you have all the power. Fair enough, the DC-DC converter in the car cannot supply a huge SPS system. For that you will need extra backup, 12 volt battery backup, because nobody has fixed information about DC-DC converter size in these cars, probably like 200 amp to supply power for the whole car. And of course, yes, you have a 12 volt battery at the front, but that's tiny. It's like 50 amp power, but it's enough to, you know, have that as a backup over there. But even now, this car has been with us for 2 weeks. The car has never really been off, and from 70 something percentage, we are still at 62%, 13.5 volt. Even if I smash the system full tilt, that voltage doesn't move, doesn't go anywhere, and it's always full. So yes, now this car at this stage is just insane. The owner wanted a system where he has the ability to turn it up and not to worry about, you know, the doors falling apart, or have that feeling like what the car gives, that craziness when you want to accelerate and you want to have that, I don't know what to call it. There's a beautiful word for it. Now you guys, you can come up with these words and comment what everyone wants to experience in a car. That ecstasy, maybe. That's the word I could come up with. That ecstasy where you just have no limitation and you can smash the audio system as loud as you want in the best, finest quality. And this system just does that. If only I was in the position to have a demo car like this, honestly. And maybe one day that may happen. Who knows? Not that I'm complaining. You know, the car I have now, the S-Class, yes, it's an old girl with the OEM system in it. It's definitely something that has showed to many people already what's possible from an OEM platform. But when you can do all this custom work to install drivers in optimal location properly, then yes, that takes things to another level, definitely. So for now, this is it. You could see the progress of this car. As I mentioned, you can see daily updates on Patreon, where you can see everything. Everything, honestly. If you want to learn how we build that, how we built the front sub, where we mounted and how we mounted the super tweeter. If you want to see the RTA evaluation of this car, which is going to probably happen on Patreon later, you can see that too. You will see how these drivers measure from those given locations, how the system got pulled together, how it works. And that's the only way to pull this industry forward. That's the only way to progress and learn, if we share as much as we can. Unfortunately, I can't share everything on YouTube as much lately, but on Patreon, as I said, there's so much, and we appreciate all of your support, guys. So check out description for PSsound's and Eddie's separate Patreon as well. And I have to mention it all the time from now on, because so many people don't know about it, and honestly, it's for your benefit. You can learn so much over there. All right, I'm gonna finish it here. Also, at the end of the video, you will see the playlist coming up for this car. Then you can see where this project started with the previous car, how we installed that car in 2 weeks with Lee back in the day, how we transplanted into this one, and then now this part. Guys, enjoy the last couple of minutes with the pictures of this build, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.
Thank you.